What is going on, all you beautiful and sexy people? This is Manufactured Opinion here, bringing you some more Dragon's Dogma gameplay, and today we have a run-through of the Bitter Black Isle solo, and with no armor. We'll be fighting this giant sexy eyeball. We will be fighting the man with the dragon pet that I like to call Toothless, and we will also be fighting two forms of Daemon. Now this run isn't all that impressive, but I wanted some nice background gameplay for a much more important subject, which would be Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I have been streaming Dragon's Dogma a lot more recently, and one of the main things that comes up in the chat is, what would you like to see in Dragon's Dogma 2? What would you like to see change in Dragon's Dogma 2? It would be epic if they did this. They should really change this, this, and that. And I have expressed certain thoughts and opinions in past Dragon's Dogma videos, but they're sort of disjointed all over the place, all over, I don't even know how many Dragon's Dogma videos I have. They're not in one central location, so the aim of this video will be to consolidate all of those thoughts and opinions into this one video, and then hopefully get some discussion going on what you guys would like to see in Dragon's Dogma 2, what you think should change for Dragon's Dogma 2, and more importantly, if they should keep "I'm smashing testicles, master" in the pawn dialogue. So whenever Dragon's Dogma 2 is brought up, I see a lot that they need to streamline the storyline, that you don't really know much about the world, you can't understand the story's disjointed, all this sort of stuff. And I equate the story in Dragon's Dogma to Dark Souls, in the sense that you gotta go out and find it. You can't play Dragon's Dogma once unless you have a guide in front of you and you just kind of ruin the game for yourself. You can't play it once and expect to learn about the whole world. You gotta play through it multiple times. You gotta talk to everybody. I think it differs from Dark Souls in a sense that Dragon's Dogma tries to do it more through fetch quests. You got to talk to everybody and kind of do their quests first, whereas in Dark Souls you have to be more attentive to details in the dialogue. So there is a difference there, and I think if Capcom sort of added that extra element to the lore, I think it would be a lot better. But I really like what they did with Everfall. I really like what they did with the repeated... Oh, Death! I don't even think I noticed he was in the room when I was playing through this. As I get absolutely raffle stomped. But yeah, the lore in this game is great. If you play, like I said, if you play through it once, it's not really going to do anything for you. You see you get attacked by a dragon, and then you go kill the dragon, and then the world, and then Grand Soren just pummels into darkness. There's no... So you can kind of understand people say it's disjointed because they don't take the time to learn the story at all. Which is when Dark Souls first came out, everybody was saying that about Dark Souls until you had people doing the lore videos. And then you realize there's this whole backstory of Dark Souls, and it's the same thing with Dragon's Dogma. You just have to take the time to understand it, and I think in terms of that, Dragon's Dogma 2 will be fine. There are other issues that I think need to be addressed before that. So there's a lot of different things that people think should change in Dragon's Dogma, and I think a lot of it centers around one particular issue that I think we can talk about and sort of hit all of those things that people want to change, and I think that issue is balance. A lot of people want to see the vocations change. A lot of people want to see the difficulty change. A lot of people want to see the world expanded. And I think more enemy variety. And like I said, I think if you focus on balance, all of those will sort of fall into place. And let me explain that. When you first start Dragon's Dogma, first time playing ever, it is a very hard game. Don't even try to sit there and tell me you ran off the path one night at dark and didn't get your shit stomped in by some crazy-ass enemy on the side of the road and you pooped your pants. It happened to you. You took one of the first quests where you had to drop down in that well in Casardis and you got absolutely obliterated by Saurians. It happened. It was a very difficult game. As you progressed, it was very difficult. As you progressed even more, you know, it wasn't as difficult, but it was still pretty damn hard. And then all of a sudden you hit this point and the game is just extremely easy. There's no middle ground. You didn't fight an enemy and say, you know, that was kind of easy and kind of hard. No, it was either really easy or really friggin' difficult. There was no balance. So I think when people talk about enemy variety and they talk about difficulty, they really want to focus on balance. So the same thing happens when you talk about vocations. People want to see new skills and all that kind of stuff. Which is perfectly fine. I think a more variety of skills would be perfect, would be awesome. Just like I think more enemy variety would be awesome. But the thing they should focus on It's the same instance with the game difficulty. In the vocations, Sorcerer, Mage, Magic Archer are perfect examples. If you start off as those and just play those through the whole game, you're extremely weak to super overpowered. I'm gonna stomp everybody's face off. There's no in between. There's no feeling of progression. If they get that balance down, not only will the fights with enemies feel more difficult and more rewarding, the game won't feel as easy / hard. Like, think of Dark Souls, it's difficult all the way through. Either make Dragon's Dogma difficult all the way through, or make it feel like there's progression. There's no feeling of either one. And I think that's what they need to focus on. All those separate things will fall into place. And then you have certain things like they should make the world bigger. I definitely think they should make the world bigger. Oh, one more thing about balance I wanted to talk about before I go into the world being bigger. Bitter Black Isle is a perfect example. Challenging, yes, but not challenging for the right reasons. One of the only things I didn't like about the expansion. They just threw a bunch of enemies, beefed up, reskinned, and called them different name types. And just made them take more health from you. There's no different tactics you have to do to utilize. No different move sets for these enemies. They just have more health and they were given a different name. The only time strategy comes into place is the Daemon fight, which is an amazing boss fight. Actually, all boss fights in here are amazing, but with death as well, you have to use some strategy when you first encounter death. I mean, we all know how to cheese death by now. You just shoot him in the dick with a bunch of blast arrows, and he just flops all over the place. But when it first came out, you need to use strategy with death. I just think you get to a certain point, you just run up to a goblin and you clobber it in the face. Even in Bitter Black, even when you got the expansion for Bitter Black at first, you just run up to something and clobber it in the face. There's no strategy involved. So I think if they focus on balance, all of these sort of combat issues, vocation issues, difficulty issues just fall right into place, and the game will be that much better off. You can then go into different enemy varieties and expand the world from there, because as you've worked on balance, you're able to create different zones, whatever it may be, dungeons, whatever you want to call them, and then you won't be as worried as people being overpowered for this zone, but maybe not this zone, so we have to make it linear so they only go this way. So I think if they just focused on that, I think they'd be a lot better off for it. So I saved the most glaringly obvious mechanic they can fix in the game for the last portion of this video, and that would be the pawn system. It seems to me like it was created for some live co-op, multiplayer, whatever you want to call it, with 3 other friends, whether it be their main pawn or their main character joining your world, and you join forces to kick Daemon in the dick, and it would be absolutely extraordinary. Just imagine having your friend with you that can actually heal you or cast spells instead of picking up items in the middle of the battle. You won't have to worry about pawn inclinations. You won't have to worry about pawns randomly jumping off cliffs. I'm sorry, I don't know why my pawns decide to jump off cliffs. Maybe it's because I've thrown so many off cliffs before. They just jump off to save themselves some trouble. I don't really know what it is, but the pawn AI is pretty terrible. So maybe if they do something with the pawn AI and then add a multiplayer option as well, like I said, whether it be your friends or whoever's main pawn, or whether it be their main character, and you just join forces to destroy some pretty damn awesome bosses. I think if they added, this kind of ties back into enemy variety. If you're going to go that route, then you're going to need some crazy ass bosses. Like, I know the online Dragon was supposed to be everybody was damaging it around the world, but I mean, just imagine how much better that fight would have been if you had 3 of your other friends doing it, fighting it with you. I can guarantee you that the Dragon, I think, is like generation 350 as the time of this video. I can guarantee you, if people had the ability to play with their friends in that fight, the generation of that Dragon would be double, because it would be so much more fun. People would want to keep doing it. But the fact where it is now, when you got with the pawn AI you have now, and with the generation it's at now, you can barely do any damage to it anymore. It's not even worth it, unless they reset it, which they already did once, and I doubt they ever will again. And just some other kind of small things that have kind of irked me about this game, but I sort of utilize them anyways because they're in the game. Wake stones are really overpowered, especially when you can get 20 every time you kill the offline Dragon, and the offline Dragon is extremely easy to kill. Even with that 8-minute timer or 7-minute timer, whatever it is, extremely easy to kill. And then I guess just one more thing that pops up from time to time is a fast travel system, and I have no problem with the travel in the game. Maybe, I don't know, depending on how large the world is in the next game, in Dragon's Dogma 2, maybe add a horse or something. But in the cape physics, cape physics, hashtag cape physics, it was a big I don't know what you want to call it, a big uptake in the chat stream of the Twitch stream a couple days ago. Hashtag cape physics. They need to fix those cape physics. I'm tired of seeing my shield go through my cape. It's a pain in the ass. So fix that, Crapcom. #1 issue on your plate. Fast travel system, I don't really have a problem with it. To me, that sort of added a charm to the game. I know you're running past the same locations multiple times, but I think it just added to the difficulty of the game, and you do end up getting port crystals anyways, so it's not that huge of a deal. I mean, Dark Souls, you end up just being able to warp, you know, later on in the game. I mean, I kind of equate it to that. It's the same kind of issue. I've been comparing this game a lot to Dark Souls, huh? Probably should stop doing two completely different games. I just think of Dark Souls a lot when I think of this game. But anyways, I think that's all the thoughts. So let me check. Did I have a note? I had a notepad somewhere. I don't know where I put it because I have ADD and suck at life. But I think I hit on every point I wanted to. I saved sort of the exterior issues. That exterior is a completely wrong word, but sort of the lesser issues to the end of the video. And balance, I think, was the biggest issue. That I think if they can fix that for Dragon's Dogma 2, I think it will be a fantastic game. But more importantly, please leave your comments in the comments section below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. There are a few, you know, threads, a couple of articles on what people want to see from Dragon's Dogma 2, but not really good discussion about it. So I'd like to see your thoughts in the comments section below. And I am streaming Dragon's Dogma a lot more, hopefully 2 or 3 times a week. So if you guys want to check out the Twitchers, the Mustache Twitch, go ahead and feel free to do so. Link in the description. We'll be doing a lot of challenge runs and stuff like that. Very enjoyable. Always a good time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's all hope that Dragon's Dogma 2 does come out. It has been said that it will come out. But who knows? And I know nothing about making a video game. These are just things that I've seen or observed while I've been, however many hours I put into this game. Somebody rent Ms. Gogurt and tell me how much I've played this game, because I don't even know myself. And just add another 100 hours on top of that, trying to find all of the loot and good old Everfall for all of the world to find. So yeah, leave me your comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're enjoying life. And as always, people, I will talk to you later. Take care.